chandeliers glow. We'll sip our worries away, nice and slow. Your laughter ripples like sweet warm wine. In this jazzy sultry space you're mine. The saxophone croons a velvet tune, while melodies dance beneath the moon. We'll toast to moments both grand and small, in this hazy, lazy, jazz-touched hall. But let's sit together in the mellow night. We'll drink to love till the morning light. Every glass we raise a promise true. Here's to the magic in a drink with you. Your eyes, they sparkle with every click. Sweet rendezvous over a simple drink. We'll share our secrets in whispers low, just you and me where the jazz flows slow. The world outside fades into the mist, but here it's our own dreamy tryst. With each sip our worries drift away. Let's stay together till the break of day. So let's sit together in the mellow night. We'll drink to love till the morning light. Every glass we raise a promise true. Here's to the magic in a drink with you.
The following live stream has been approved for appropriate audiences. It may contain occasional strong language and may not be suitable for younger or more sensitive viewers. Viewer inebriation is advised, though not mandatory.
Doctor Who was not so much cancelled after the last episode of Sylvester McCoy in December of 1989, so much as it was indefinitely put on hiatus. As a side note, watch for that to happen again after the current season of whatever this show is now. Anyway, with no Doctor Who in the works, the 1993 30th anniversary was looming and they had to do something. And that something was Dimensions in Time. It was a huge multi-doctor, multi-companion mess. Then the BBC asked 20th Century Fox for help, and they made the Doctor half human on his mother's side. Then Mr. Bean became the Doctor. And then Russell T. Davies came along to save the Doctor. Then 17 years later, he came back to destroy the whole franchise. But that's another story. Tonight, we look at those in-between years and the return of Doctor Who. So top off your glasses, tell me what you're sipping on in the chat, and we'll roll out this Canarble Wagon right now.
Last Call is streamed before a live audience.
Salud. Welcome everyone. Hope you're all doing well, and let me know what you're sipping on in the chat. I am having a brown mumbler. That's rye whiskey, dark vermouth, and a little bit of Angostura bitters with a couple of drunken cherries in there. I thought I put drunken cherries in there. Where are they?
They're drunk.
Oh, okay. I see them there at the bottom of the glass. 2 drunken cherries. So there you go. Oh, that's good. Nice. Well, welcome, everyone. Hope you all are doing well. You guys all look great. See what I'm doing? Anyway, let me real quick say I will bring my my cohorts in just a second. I want to say hi to all of you here in the chat, especially those who've been waiting a while. Big Al presents. Yes, Curse of Fatal Death. We will absolutely be talking about that one tonight and tomorrow. Looking forward to hanging out with you on your channel as we do a rewatch of the Ralph Bakshi, Lord of the Rings. That's gonna be a lot of fun. I was looking over the animation again. That is just I wish people would do the rotoscoping again. I kind of miss that. Curtis Selby. I think I have. I did see that movie. Yeah. There you go. Curtis Selby. He goes, woot woot. Yes, welcome, my friend. Good to see you. And JPRPH1. Speaking of the Mumbler, he's dropping the membership emojis, including the Canarble Wagon, the black fedora, the logo, and the brown Mumbler. Salute, my friend. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Welcome back. We were hanging out with you last night over on Netters Network. Mr. House Party 6. Salute to you. I gotta ask you. I am not the sharpest when it comes to the modern lingo and leet speak and that sort of thing. What does 1EA mean? You said that a couple times the other night, and I'm not with it enough to be able to follow along. Then there's Netter of Netters Network. How you doing, my dear? I may as well just bring you in since you dropped the chat. How you doing? Oh, that's adorable. Liz Slayton sticking her tongue out. How are you doing and what you sipping on?
I'm doing great. It's the end of the week, and I am sipping on, I'm not sure.
You called it a Netters Network. A Netters Network. A Netters Nectar. Yeah.
It's Malibu rum, pineapple rum, and pineapple juice.
No, coconut rum.
Coconut rum.
And pineapple juice.
Coconut rum and pineapple juice, yeah.
Right.
And there's pineapple in there somewhere.
Yeah, well, good. And so we're both drinking heavily, so Boom, if you have to end the stream, you're going to have to take over.
Well, I also have a chaser of sparkling water.
Well, fair enough. But there we go. Oh, yeah, let's get the designated driver in here, too. How you doing, my friend? And what are you sipping on?
I'm doing fine. I have a lemonade, and we were talking before the stream about some guy that was through AI was reconstituting old Patrick Troughton era episodes.
Yeah,
yes,
I will talk about that in just a second. Let me finish getting through all of the
sure.
all of the hellos and highs and how you doings. Connie Cleary saying hello to everyone. Welcome, Connie. Always wonderful to have you around. Colleen O'Brien says, hello, all. Not sure how long I may be able to stay, but wanted to pop my head in and say hello. And of course, I chatted back to her and said, we appreciate any time you're willing to give us. We super appreciate having you around. Okay, you guys are talking to each other, which I always appreciate. And there's Age of Boomer saying hi to everyone. Salute. Yeah, looking a little bit like the Seventh Doctor tonight.
Yeah, well, I figured he's a bit older when we get to the TV movie, right? So I figured I'd use
like a boomer, is what you're saying.
Yes, I mean he. Probably wondered how old the Seventh Doctor is supposed to be in that TV movie. Is this like decades later from when we last saw him? I think.
Well,
yeah.
But you say that because one of the things that people point out is that several of the previous doctors, including Sylvester McCoy, had multi-century diaries, and it said 1,000-year diary on it or whatever.
Yes.
So you assume if he's got 1,000-year diary, that means he's 1,000 years old, whatever.
Except for Peter Davidson, because there's no companion break.
Right, exactly. So you can almost say exactly how long his what do you call it, lasted. That's exactly
because when there's a companion break, you can say, well, the Doctor went on all these
had all kinds of adventures
and got new companions we didn't even know about. You understand? You can do all that, but yes.
Which we'll be talking about with one of the doctors we'll talk about tonight. So yes, absolutely true. Let's see. And thank you, Nate. Getting greetings, my good people. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Super appreciate you, my friend. Don't want to miss nobody. Darth Plato says, hey, Darth Plato, salute. And I'm going to kind of go through quickly because I don't want to miss anybody. Logical Spark. Hey, peeps, what's crapping? Good to see you, my friend. As well as Jesse Green 619. Hello, good to see you, my friend. Let's see here. That brings us to the last comment, which is, I watched the thing with you and Boomer about the video game generation, and it was good. Good, thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I was posting a bunch of clips from Geeky Geezers this week, so hope you did enjoy it. I think it's a great way to get caught up if you're not interested in all the articles from a particular Geeky Geezer. Maybe there's just one you're interested in. You can go check that out. Hopefully, leave a like. I'd appreciate that.
Was trying to educate Troy on post-Atari console wars. Though, to be fair, Atari was in that first one with Nintendo. They lost badly. The Atari 7800 versus the NES.
So I mentioned this last night. I'm going to mention it again. I don't see him here to hear me saying it, but Mark was telling me that his wife, Julie, listens at the same time that he does when he's home. And one of the things she was pointing out, as Netter has as well, maybe it's just a wife thing that they notice, or just a sensitivity thing, I'm not sure. But they have both pointed out, the more I drink, the more blue my language gets. So I intend to drink, and drink heavily tonight. But I will do my best to keep it between the lines. So, Boomer, as designated driver, maybe you should, not be afraid to say,
say son of a banister instead of son
watch
of a
the Yes, just as I greet all of you beautiful bastions of culture. I'm so glad to see all of you tonight. Yes, I will try to censor myself a little bit. Not because I am one who agrees with the concept of censorship so much as I'm trying to do better.
It's going to be a family stream.
Well, I can't promise I'll ever make it a family stream, but I'm trying. There is the warning at the beginning of the show about strong language. Just saying. I noticed a change as the stream progressed last time I stepped in. Maybe it's a woman thing. Maybe women notice, or maybe men notice and don't feel inclined to point it out. I don't know, but
well, the other thing is, the more F-bombs you drop, the angrier you are also getting.
Well, that is fairly true, and that's one of the things that Mark pointed out too. That's how he gets as well. When you get on a rant, anger and strong language tend to kind of go together, and of course, this tends to loosen up both, I suppose. Troy, you're not being censored. You're being sensible and genuine. Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, I'm trying. I'm really trying. And Space Fraggle, haven't seen you in a while. A family stream would be nice. I'm working on it. I am working on it. And Kapla, my friend, good to see you. So maybe, and everyone's saying hi. Good. Glad to see it. Yeah, don't stream angry. Fair enough.
Did you say hello to Logical Spark?
I did. Welcome, Logical Spark. And I think that should bring us up to date. Why don't we go ahead and start getting to the conversation? So I was telling Boomer in the backdrop before we got started. It's why I started a minute or two late. I was sharing with him an article from Fandom Pulse. They've got it's not really news. It's been happening for a long time, but they did a special interest piece on a Doctor Who superfan who has spent a large portion of his life savings, over $100,000, to create I've told you guys, actually, if you go back and watch chapter 1 of this series, we were talking about the first 3 Doctors and how there are a lot of missing episodes of all 3 of those Doctors. And a group called the Doctor Who Restoration Society has made reconstructions of them using audio that was recorded on, audio recording, off when the back in the 60s, not everyone had access to the equivalent of VHS, beta, those kinds of things. But what most people did have is audio recording ability, the big chunky cassette recorders. So they would record the audio. So audio exists for every single episode that ever of Doctor Who that ever existed. BBC asked for those. If you made a recording, can you please send it to us? We're not going to give you any problems with copyright or any of that kind of stuff. We're looking to make master copies, and what they did was they took the best audio recordings of each episode and remastered them, and then turned around and resold them as CDs. But all that audio exists. What also exists is something called telesnaps. Back in the day, the actors would often, from their own pocket, they would pay for a photographer to come on set and photograph each scene that they're in to kind of put into their curriculum vitae, the portfolio, whatever you want to call it.
Their CV.
Their CV, yeah. And they, so those all exist. So something else that exists is little snips, right? So if a TV show that still exists in some recorded format showed a clip from Doctor Who that exists. So for example, because it appeared on, I can't remember which show it was, but there was a show in Britain that showed the regeneration of the first to the second Doctor. Because that exists, that clip exists of that transformation. But the episodes
Blue Peter
before it, was it Blue Peter? Okay,
I thought you said
sense.
it was, but I may be wrong.
I actually don't remember for certain.
Okay,
but they do exist. And so this Restoration Society took all the clips they had, and they took all the telesnaps, put them together in like a slideshow, and put them together with the audio. Made them available for free on the internet, so you can experience them in that way. Well, this Fandom Pulse article was talking about a bloke, an older guy. He's in his 70s. He just wanted to see Doctor Who restored. So he took all those telesnaps. He took, what the restoration crowd did. And using AI, reconstructed those into animations, I guess you would call them. You've seen them. They take like the Mona Lisa and have the Mona Lisa talking, with AI automation. Well, they do the same thing with these telesnaps, so that they're talking with the actual soundtrack. And he has spent over 100,000. I don't know if it's pounds or dollars of his own money.
Pounds.
Probably pounds of his own money doing that. But he's in his 70s. This is what he wants to do. He's restored all 3 of those seasons, and he says he plays them nonstop, and it brings him joy. He has made them available, although he hasn't officially said, I'm making them available. But they're out there floating around, and they're not great. They're kind of what you expect from AI. Are they better than, just a slideshow? I don't know. But they're not too well received. So that's all I'm going to say about that. I didn't feel like it was really news, but I did want to share that there are people doing that kind of thing.
he spent how much on that?
Over 100,000 pounds.
What the?
He paid somebody to do it, I guess.
Okay. But
so much to love, so much not to love. We're going to get into that, Robert, and welcome, by the way. Very good to see you. Thank you for being here.
Yeah. That's a lot of money. That's all I'm saying. It's just...
Look, I am not going to judge someone who's probably getting to the end of life.
All right.
Wants to spend his money on something that will bring him joy. I was literally cutting audio today on the computer and thought how much easier it is now versus those reel-to-reel, mostly due to the undo feature. Yeah, if you make a mistake, Control-Z. Exactly right. Still better than what RTD is doing now. Yeah, we're going to get to that. Well,
we'll be talking about RTD tonight because we're going to get to the first season of first series, I should say. They're not seasons anymore now; they're series. But before that,
when last we left the Doctor, Sylvester McCoy and Ace were, going off on another adventure, and he had a great little speech, and then we didn't have any Doctor Who for years, and there was no announcement that it had been canceled. It was just on indefinite hiatus.
But then there was a triumphant return.
You call it a triumphant? Okay.
Let's move on to the first slide here. Look at that. Isn't that exciting? Look at that cover. Dimensions in Time. This is like another reunion, huh?
Yes, this was for the 30th anniversary. Hold on just a second. I want to grab something real quick.
By the way, I don't know if Troy thanked you, but thank you, Geek Flag, for the super chat.
Absolutely.
Earlier. Yes. You might have. I just been preoccupied because I'm just excited about Dimensions in Time.
Of course you
I was watching this. I watched this last night. While I was working on this, I also watched Curse of Fatal Death. Oh boy. I have some things to say. I wanted to watch. I can't find the movie anywhere. I don't know. I don't think that's streaming anywhere.
Which one isn't showing anywhere?
The Fox pilot that never happened.
Oh, you mean this one?
The one you have on physical media. Good for you.
I absolutely do. It is available on YouTube.
Well, Darth Plato likes it, and someone's asking, is this the EastEnders one? This was the EastEnders Doctor Who crossover that all the fans were pining for all these years.
I also have my own copy of this, so let's start there. You know what? Let me real quick.
Are you an EastEnders fan, Troy?
Not even a little bit.
But you like soaps, so I thought you
do, but I've never watched an episode of EastEnders. So yeah, this is one of my custom covers that I made specifically for. What I do not have yet is appropriate for this episode. 3D glasses. If I get the right kind of 3D glasses, I will put them in here, but I don't have them. No, the red-green ones are not the right ones.
Red-blue?
It is. No, it is like one is gray and the other is clear.
Oh, holy cow!
I know I have some of those somewhere.
Yeah, if we can find those, that's the way to go.
If I ever locate any, I'll give them to you. I'll send them to you. Okay.
But what I want to do, and if they're the cardboard kind, I'll just kind of tuck them into. These things have the little clippy in here, and I'll just clip them in here.
My Friday the 13th DVD set that came with the first 4 movies came with a set of 3D glasses, so you could watch Part 3 in 3D. But we'll talk about
if I have that too. I'll have to.
You might if you got the set. I know one of the sets came with it. But anyway, this is Dimensions.
No, these are the ones. These are the ones. Oh yeah, maybe. I'll have to give this a try because I noticed that when I close my right eye, the screen goes black. I open my left eye and everything looks normal. So yeah, these might actually do it. I'll give that a try later on.
You see Wall Street guys, and suddenly their true face appears, which is the skeletal thing.
There you go.
Apparently, these were IMAX glasses that we stole from somewhere.
Well, maybe I'll have to see if I can't get another pair of those somehow.
You get those in parks all the time. In fact, you probably saw them on the Spider-Man ride. They'll give you a pair, and then you leave. You drop them off again. Then they clean them.
Supposed to drop them off. Yeah. But yes, when Dimensions in Time was actually a 2-parter, and it had it had elements that were in 3D. I only remember the very first part of it being in 3D.
I love that song, Colleen O'Brien, and it was not included on my 4-disc anthology.
Oh,
This
damn
set
it.
of Weird Al, so that's why you have to buy the albums too. Okay, but yes, I do love that Weird Al song.
You know, little side note
This is
here.
not to like Friday 13th type movies.
Little sidetrack here. So the first time that I don't know if it was his first album or not, but I was over at a buddy's house my freshman year in high school, and he was playing for me. I can't remember what the popular song was from Weird Al, but I'm listening to it, and there's a Star Wars parody song on there called Yoda. I met him in a swamp down
I
in
love that. Yeah.
where it bubbles all the time like a giant carbonated soda. SODA soda. And I'm like, this is a cool little song. What's this a parody of? He looks at me and he's like, you've never heard Lola by the Kinks?
Yep.
I had never heard Lola by the Kinks at that point.
There's always a song you haven't heard. It's okay.
Yeah. So that was my introduction to Lola by the Kinks was Yoda by Weird Al Yankovic.
They're both good. Anyway, but back to Dimensions in Time. Wow. I was watching a clip on YouTube, and John Pertwee walks out onto the stage, and I guess, is that John Nathan Turner sitting there in front of everybody? I could be wrong. Was that supposed to be John Nathan Turner? Or was it somebody else? I don't know.
I don't know.
That was John Nathan Turner. I want to slap him for this thing. I really do. First it gets canceled, and then you come back, and this is what we got. This is what we got. This is nothing.
Well, look at this. Look at this piece of artwork you have here. You've got Sylvester McCoy, who was the last Doctor there, right?
Yep.
You got John Pertwee, Peter Davison, Colin Baker. You've got William Hartnell, you got Patrick Troughton, and you got Tom Baker, right? And you've got literally every companion they could possibly freaking get.
Darth
but
Plato.
Are they all really in it? Not exactly. Thank you so much, Darth Plato. If you include Dimensions in Time, Nicholas Courtney was the only actor to appear with all 7 Doctors. And you know what, my friend? I do. If for no other reason, just for that reason. Nicholas Courtney being Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart. So
okay.
Who joins Liz Sladen as someone who didn't get a fair goodbye, I felt, from the current showrunners. Well, not current showrunners, current at the time that they passed.
All right, so now we're moving on to here we go.
Well, that's Sylvester McCoy.
Who is next? That's an EastEnders actor, right?
I have no idea. No, I think that might be Tegan. No, it's not. That's
I think Tegan's in it, but it's not.
No, that's Oh, who's the barbarian girl? What's her name?
Oh,
Leela.
Leela. Yeah, I think that's Leela.
Because here's another thing that's confusing, because they're also running into EastEnders characters, right, during this little special. So
yes,
it's already hard
but
enough.
They don't run into them this way. Okay, so this is, and this is the other thing that gets confusing, because you have a bunch of companions that, just like the Doctors, have all aged up.
So
right?
I'm trying to figure out who's who.
So sometimes you don't recognize them, and they don't necessarily match the Doctor with the companion.
Because he keeps switching. Because it's part of the timey-wimey trap that the Ronnie has set up for him.
Yes. And I think one of the biggest continuity issues is the Doctor changing appearances. Well, that's fine. He can maintain, a memory, in a linear fashion. The companions being completely separate freaking people. He should be in the middle of something, and the new companion should be like, what the hell's going on? He should have to tell them over and over. Nope, it's like they remember what the previous companion was going through. It's just
None.
weird ass kind
None.
of nonsensical storytelling.
None of this makes
But
any
here's the
sense.
thing with the EastEnders. The EastEnders would all be like NPC characters, right? You know, they're focused on the Doctor and the companion, but then you'll see somebody at a shop who, you know, stops and looks, and you just focus on them for a moment before you get back to the Doctor. And it's just supposed to be a throw-in Easter egg for your East End fans.
So I guess this takes place in a crowded London shopping plaza.
I guess. I mean,
Circus. I don't know, but there's crowds of people. But then suddenly, all sorts of monsters start showing up. Like you got Cybermen and Vervoids, which makes no sense why there'd be a Vervoid there because they were all wiped out.
Yeah.
I don't care. Who cares?
But again, it's a timey-wimey situation.
No, it's we make up the rules when we feel like making up new rules and throw.
This story,
continuity
this
everywhere.
Story is bat crap crazy. It makes absolutely zero effing sense.
I think that's Ace with the 5th and 6th Doctors.
Yes.
Okay.
Which this is just a publicity shot because no two Doctors really appeared at the same time.
She was probably the closest to looking like how she looked because it's only a few years later, right? So it's not that different. Sophie Aldrich.
That's true. Okay, I have no knowledge of this, which is what I love about Doctor Who. I'm always finding something new. I would be really surprised, Robert, if you can't find Dimensions in Time on YouTube somewhere.
It's on YouTube.
I'm sure it is. It has to be. Like I said, I chances are I probably got it off of YouTube. That's how I have it on disc.
Why didn't they just have it be Sylvester McCoy and Ace on a little adventure? That's what they could have done. Why do we have to bring all the other Doctors back?
Because they wanted to capitalize on the anniversary thing of 30 years. All the Doctors we can get. Let's get every single.
Is it going to be better than the 5 Doctors? The answer is no. So don't try.
But that's what they were shooting for. They thought, well, if 5 Doctors was good, right? Then 7 Doctors should be great. Yeah.
Tom Baker.
Sort of.
He's not there on set, but he at least filmed segments for it, right? So there's
that. He did not. No.
What do you mean?
No. What? He did not film segments for this.
I don't understand.
I'll explain. This was footage of him recording audio for a completely other project. I don't remember if this had something to do with Shada or one of the audio dramas or something like this. And they took this in order to be able to get him in because he said he wouldn't do it. That's what they did. They took this footage. Now, you'll notice, I'm glad you brought this up because this footage, you see the little circle and the triangle and these little, geometric shapes floating around him. Those are the 3-dimensional images. And as they circled around him, they kind of like woo at you,
Sorry, I have to show this. It's basically the Highlander 2 of Doctor Who. Yes,
it really is. Yeah, you can take it or leave it. I take it as a production, and therefore the reason that the Brigadier appeared with every single Doctor up through was it Tennant or Smith? I don't remember before he died. I think it was Smith. Anyway,
listen to me. You have floating heads of Hartnell and Troughton.
That's the other thing.
I think is just bizarre.
The storyline, to the extent that there was a storyline, was that the 1st and 2nd Doctor were trapped somehow, and that's why they couldn't participate. And they used these busts that they had made of Troughton and Hartnell. And they do the whole 3D circular type of thing too. It's a cop out. It really is.
So
they could have used footage from a previous episode or something like that. No, they did that, and it was
just not good.
Well, and in fairness, it wasn't. I mean, nowadays they would have made something up using CG to bring back dead actors, but these these two had passed, so there wasn't any way for them to participate.
I forgot to show a picture of him too, but this was the last time we saw John Pertwee as the Doctor.
Yes.
I think he died a few years later after this special aired.
Yep.
Too bad, but this is just. I'm sorry. I when you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything at all. It feels cheap. This whole thing felt cheap to me.
Yeah.
And I didn't even understand why they did it. And I want to know how it was received in England, because you imagine Doctor Who fans were waiting, especially in England, because it was a much bigger deal in England than it was here in the States.
There is something to be said for this. Was one of those charity events, right? This was like the Red Nose Day, where it was raising money for charity. So there's that element of it. The EastEnder fans are, digging it as well. It's like, oh, Doctor Who and EastEnders. Don't buy into the idea that EastEnders and Doctor Who take place in the same universe, because I believe there's an episode where Doctor Who refers to EastEnders as a show on TV. So
none of this makes okay.
This is back crap crazy. There's no doubt.
There is one last reunion with Pertwee and Sarah Jane. You're right. I forgot to show a picture of that. Sarah Jane shows up to Elizabeth Sladen. Yes, she's in it. This is what gets confusing though, because
she was in it with K9.
Last time we see Susan too.
Yes, she'd aged up too.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because it's time. But she's calling him grandfather.
This is why. Again, I'm inclined to say that as bat crap crazy as this is, I'm inclined to consider this canon, because then we can say that we know that Susan Foreman aged up. She had a long life after the Doctor left.
Cheap can work for Doctor Who. I'm open-minded, says Robert Infinite Realms. Well,
maybe in fairness, maybe you should wait until you see it. But I
don't know. There's some episodes from the McCoy era, like where they had the what was it, Paradise Towers, where there were the two gangs fighting each other, the two girl gangs fighting each other, and some of them had red hair, like bright red hair, and the others had blue hair, and it was the same actors playing both gangs.
Looks like some folks are suffering from pain of high expectation. I believe because it was the 30th anniversary, I think you're right, Darth Plato. A lot of people did have very high expectations. And Darth Plato's pointing out that no, Susan did not call Colin grandfather. Although,
not Colin grandfather, she was yelling out grandfather for.
If you think about it, though, technically Colin Baker is still the same Doctor. Still would have been her grandfather.
No, she wasn't. I think she was just yelling out for him because she was in this weird square and realized, how am I here? But yeah, I don't know.
I agree with you, Tim, FKHC 2005, salute, my friend. Yes, I agree with you. You're absolutely right on that.
This is just sad. We have the stupid McCoy era logo, which I never liked. No, I'm over it. You have the Ronnie come back,
though, because that was the logo at the time. It was still considered the current.
I'm over it. I'm over it. I'm fed up. Let's move on.
That Doctor Who logo is very 80s. There's no doubt about
that. I
that.
preferred the one prior to that.
I agree.
The one that looked like a lit up like a neon sign.
Yeah,
neon
I
is
agree
80s.
with you.
This is what I was stuck with too when I was getting into Who. I was right smack dab in the middle of the McCoy era, even though I was watching the older episodes. I'm like, yeah, these episodes aren't great. And then there was that final McCoy season where I know people like Curse of Fenric. Let's move on. Let's move on to.
Oh well, if we're gonna get into this, then I think we need to hear from Nate.
Well, that's right. So let's break.
So hold on a second.
As requested, I watched the Doctor Who movie from 1996, and I gotta say, yeah, that happened. Paul McGann's Doctor Who was done by a fan. You could tell he was really a fan of the Doctor. As for the director, writers, and producers, not so much. Eric Roberts, on the other hand, was having the best time of his life chewing up the scenery. And why was the Master a snake? Dr. Grace and the young boy were just annoying. It's not as bad as current Who, but it was pretty damn close. So, my final verdict about the Doctor Who movie? There's a reason no one really talks about it. Humble contributor, Geek Flag with Nate Knows. 1973.
I forgot that I had to bring it back to the presentation.
Now,
but thank you, Nate, for that.
he had never seen it before, I take it, right?
No, and because we brought it up last week, he sought it out. He may have watched it on YouTube. I don't know.
Here's the deal. At the time, I was hopeful because I was desperate for anything NuWho related. This was in 1998. I remembered when this aired, and I was hopeful that this would bring about one. I like Paul McGann. I'll say this. I think he's a good doctor. I like his outfit. They're going, I think, for kind of a H.G. Wells Time Machine vibe with that.
Yes, absolutely. A very steampunkish kind of look. Tim points out that it's Eric Roberts' 69th birthday today, by the way, which, happy birthday to Eric Roberts. And as a YouTuber, 69, I got to say, nice. So fair enough. And it's a YouTube thing. I have to. And although Robert says unpopular opinion, but I like the Paul McGann movie. Robert, I do too. And if it is unpopular, that's a damn shame. I like George Lazenby as James Bond, and I like Paul McGann as Doctor Who. I will also say, as of the end of the 10th Doctor era, Paul McGann held the record as the longest, the most appearances as the Doctor if you count the audio dramas.
Yes.
Did you know that? Yeah, there's a lot of great. There is a lot of great lore out there if you get into all the Big Finish audios, where he's fighting in a time war. It is arguably not the same time war that Christopher Eccleston introduces. We'll get to that in a moment or two. But
McGann wanted to wear a buzz cut and a leather jacket, but they made him wear a curly wig and romantic Victorian Edwardian outfit. That's interesting. That reminds you of another doctor who's
yes.
Eccleston. That's Eccleston.
It's very clear that this is what he wanted, and that's what they ended up doing with Christopher Eccleston. Now, it was my understanding, and please, anybody, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe that he had his hair cut short for another role. So that's why this visage of him, he's wearing a wig. In this film, he wore a wig. But yeah.
Well, it's let's get into this. There he is. Better picture of him there.
Yes, we will absolutely get to that too. Probably next week, Tim.
I think they were really trying to evoke kind of the Time Machine vibe with this, and I think it's because this is, in many respects, them not just bringing Doctor Who back, but also trying to sell it to an American audience.
Yeah. So
yes.
I mentioned this in my monologue. Let's kind of recap this. This was the BBC looking to expand the whole Doctor Who thing. One thing I will give the BBC, they were pretty good on marketing. Where I have always had issues with Paramount CBS on their marketing of Star Trek. They missed and still do miss so many opportunities to sell tchotchkes and doodahs and whatnot. Doctor Who, they marketed, up and down. And when they realized in the 90s that Doctor Who had caught on here in the States in a big way, they said, maybe we can do like a joint venture. So they reached out to 20th Century Fox.
And the idea was
that means, in theory, that means that The Enemy Within, the 1996 Doctor Who movie, is owned by Disney, who they are now partnered with. We'll talk about that another day.
I bet this is probably on Disney Plus if it's anywhere. It's just that this is an odd thing because it very much has a vibe of a late 90s era show, like American type sci-fi show or Canadian type sci-fi show. It has that vibe to it. I remember at the time, I'm not as hard. Of course, Nate is looking at it with fresh eyes now, and I was looking at it with the eyes then, thinking, well, at least now Doctor Who's back. Please don't royally mess it up. Please don't royally mess it up.
JPRPH1 saying exactly, I was looking forward to the film when it came out, and I may have been caught up in the anticipation, but I liked it. Same here. Look, and if you focus on that caught up in the anticipation thing, you understand my love for the Star Wars Holiday Special too. Just saying.
You have to understand, though, that England, they may speak the same language as many of us Americans, but we, especially in the 90s, that's a foreign country. So you had to figure out a way to make Doctor Who palatable to both a British and American
I
audience.
did like the fact that when they bring back Sylvester McCoy, he's not wearing the goofy, question mark bull crap.
I think he's older in this too, or at least he's meant to look older, like he's been doing this for a while.
He could have been traveling for a very long time. He's got no companion. Yeah, he has. Yeah, so I'm sure there's audio adventures, and you can take them or leave them as canon. But Ace traveled with him until she didn't. She wasn't with him, when this happened. So he probably got away for whatever reason. He outgrew the goofy nomenclature. In the movie, the clothes he's wearing was supposed to be a costume of someone who worked at the hospital of Wild Bill Hickok. Okay, I'll take your word for that. It's definitely that whole steampunk kind of aesthetic. And I say that because having done the whole Victorian steampunk thing with Netter, I had outfits that looked exactly like this. Although I was about 100 pounds heavier at the time.
I know that there's this big preamble at the beginning that the Master was tried on the Daleks' homeworld of Skaro.
Yes.
And I think the Daleks executed him, but then the Doctor had to transport his remains back to Gallifrey.
Mm-hmm.
But being the Master, some part of him still survives. And
yeah. So first, let me real quick address what Darth Playo said. Yes, I got that. The whole H.G. Wells undertone.
I mean, this is, I don't want to say it's a reboot because it's not, it's sort of a
reboot. It was absolutely meant to be a reboot. It was trying to restart the whole thing. I'm sorry. Daphne Ashcroft, she's a beautiful woman. By the way, if deleted
I like that
scenes
dress,
is still
that's all
here,
I'm saying.
that's why when Nate said it was annoying, I put her in that dress and gave her a shot of that because, hello, girls.
She was visiting.
What's that Warner Brothers line? Hello, nurse.
Yes. She was She was at the opera, though. She had a date. She was at the opera, but she's also a medical doctor. Then she gets called to the hospital.
Yes.
So she has to leave the opera, and she's leaving in this dress.
So she is a doctor, and she becomes a companion of the Doctor.
Yeah,
which we won't see again until what's her name? With David Tennant. Oh gosh, help me out, guys. What's her name? She was a doctor.
Martha Jones.
Martha Jones. Thank you very much.
Anyway, but
wait a minute. I did want to say deleted scenes. Wait. Let me see what he's saying here. What was the timeline between this and Alien 3? I don't know. Somebody else is going to have to look that up. But deleted since you are here.
I think this
Dana
is after
Ashcroft.
Alien. Sorry.
Who is Dana Ashcroft a sister of?
I don't know.
Deleted Scenes knows. If not, he should look it up so I could do a plug for one of his streams.
Oh. I don't know. I liked her look. That's all I'm saying. Okay.
She's a very attractive woman. Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
First on-screen kiss for the... Is that right?
I guess so.
Wait a minute. Let me think. Damn, Robert. I think you're right.
You know what
because
it is?
the last scene, he says goodbye to her. He kisses her, gets into his TARDIS, and he disappears. Yep.
She's
Yeah, I
older
think you're
though.
right.
I want to say like at very least early 30s, right? So it wasn't feel as weird as if it's like someone right out
Yeah,
of
it's
high
not
school,
like some of the younger
Yeah,
girls.
yeah.
That
So I
yeah.
could have kind of seen it. I mean, I don't know. Not that I think
And
there should be
he
romances.
kisses her and leaves. So there's no, well, if this was meant to be a backdoor pilot, so if this had been picked up, we assume that
He
she would
could
have
have
been the
come
companion.
back, or he could have gotten a new
But
companion, depending on whether or
but
not
the
they retained the
assumption
actor.
is there's no romantic thing here. It was just a
No.
kiss goodbye.
Well, because it was New Year's.
I'd forgotten that.
It was
That's
the
right.
turn of the century. That's
It
when
was
it
the
was
turn
supposed
of
to
the
take
century.
place.
Right.
And things were coming
Exactly.
undone because of stuff the Master was doing with the Eye of Orion. Then he gets sucked into the Eye of Orion at the end. I remember that. So,
No, the Eye of Harmony.
Eye of
is what it
Harmony.
is.
I keep
Yeah.
confusing the two. Okay, Eye of Harmony.
Because that's the power source of the TARDIS. And hasn't every Doctor since had a kissing scene? At least through 12? Well, I know Tennant has.
Eccleston does too.
Oh, right! In order to
Captain Jack
save
kisses
Rose. We'll get to that.
And then he kisses
What about
Rose
Matt
too.
Smith?
Yes.
Did he too? Yeah, maybe.
He kissed Edda,
Amy
sweetie.
Pond? Oh, yes!
Because he married.
Because she was the Doctor's wife. Yeah. That
Hello,
makes sense.
sweetie.
Okay.
Where do you think I get my high sweeties from?
Exactly right. And I have Netter has River Song's Sonic Screwdriver and her
Sonic lipstick.
the Sonic lipstick is Sarah Jane's, and the journal, the TARDIS journal. I love my geek wife.
Did Paul McGann have a sonic screwdriver in this movie?
Can't remember which one's hers.
Let me see.
I don't know. We have to do some research, guys. Just hang on for about 35 minutes while we figure this out. All right.
Wait a minute. I
don't care if you don't know off the top of your head. It's okay.
Does anyone recognize this sonic screwdriver?
It looks like an
huge points if you can guess this
electric toothbrush. Anyway, sorry. Wait a minute.
You're not far off. This is of course David Tennant's. Actually, this is also Christopher Eccleston's.
I used to have Matt Smith's as a replica. It broke on me though.
Here is River Songs,
along with the journal, which I was trying to get these off of it.
We also have what's his name?
Captain Jack's
whatever this is that helps us out. And River Song's journal.
Which something's falling out of it.
Interesting.
Oh.
That's pretty sweet. Okay.
There you go, sweetie.
Anyway,
I love being married to a geek. It's awesome.
Anyway, my point about the Doctor Who movie was we were all expecting it to be picked up as a series, correct? Oh, go ahead, read that. Yes.
When he started to remember who he was, he kissed her. Then she kissed him back, and then they kissed at the end before he left. Okay, I don't remember the details. That's fair.
There's a picture of Troy with a porn stash and Mark Hamill.
Look at that. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, let me let you see the porn stash. With Mark Hamill. F that guy.
Okay. Anyway.
Hey, I didn't say the F word. I just said F that guy.
I'm sure he would have showed up on Doctor Who, the McGann era, but it never happened. Anyway.
I don't give a crap. I'd skip that episode.
Anyway.
Let me get back to the present.
As requested, I watched the Doctor Who movie from 1996, and I gotta say, yeah, that happened.
Yeah, there's the presentation. Sorry.
Listen. This was supposed to be made to series. Full 5 seasons. This is Fox. Fox took risks. They did Mantis. Remember Mantis?
Oh, God.
Mantis got picked up for a full season.
Does anyone I would love to hear commentary from the chat on Mantis.
They did Millennium, my favorite show. That's how I remember when this aired, because I remember it aired around the season 2 finale of Millennium, because I was a big fan of Millennium as well. But no, this was a Fox had a lot of stuff going on. The X-Files movie was coming out that summer in theaters. This was a big
this
year
before
for Fox.
they went to the whole? Oh yeah, this was after the Fox network became a thing. So they were really trying to build up their library. Yeah.
This was a Friday night airing. I think they had intended this as a companion show to Millennium. They probably would have put it on because they already moved the X-Files to Sunday nights. I don't know when that happened. That might have happened.
Netter, I need you to look back at the comments and see, did deleted scenes ever reference Dana Ashcroft and who her brother is?
Okay.
Because I'm in no condition to scroll back. I'll scroll up the whole stream.
Here's the Doctor Who TV movie.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be a pilot for a series. I had heard behind the scenes stuff. They were going to revise the Daleks. They were going to give them a different design. They were going to be spider Daleks.
Well, which is fine. I don't see that as a problem. Let's face it, they redesigned them in the NuWho era. So, I mean, whatever.
I think I saw a picture from a comic book with the spider Daleks. I actually thought it was a decent design, which surprised me. I thought I said, don't change the design. But
and remember, Netter, if you see a comment, you can bring it up. So, just go ahead.
There's find the conversation you're talking about.
I don't know that he did.
Delete it. Just make a comment again. If you're in this test,
deleted. Do you know why? You know who Dana Ashcroft is and why I think she's important. Why she would be important to you?
Okay, wait. She's. I did just find it. I don't
Go ahead,
know where
bring
to
it
find
up.
I found it in your chat on YouTube. I don't know where it is in the thing.
Oh, okay.
He says she's Dana Ashbrook, Bobby Briggs' sister.
Yep. Dana Ashbrook is. Oh, I'm confusing names, but yes, she is Bobby Briggs' sister. Yes, the actress is the actor's sister. That's true. Oh crap.
Okay. Now
no.
As requested, I watched the doc.
See?
Stop!
I keep hitting the wrong button.
Stop hitting.
I know.
Okay.
There.
Bobby Briggs' sister. All right. Great. Anyway, moving on to. There we go. Some more. These are obviously still shots.
Yeah, I would have loved to have seen her as a continuing. She may have been the oldest female
companion. Yes,
I think. But I love the idea she was a doctor. You know, this was again long before Martha Jones. You know, so. I mean, this was kind of brilliant. If they had continued with her, I think she would have probably been the companion. I have to admit, I have never listened to the audio dramas for the Eighth Doctor, but I've heard they're very good. They do involve a time war. This was a time war that happened before the Ninth Doctor's time war. So. Oh, there you go. Thank you.
That's one of them. I had to put up with this because I know that Big Finish was doing a lot of stuff during the.
And I would argue that these Big Finish audios were kind of canonized by Day of the Doctor, where Paul McGann returns in the new era. We'll get to that later on, but he says although they can't hear him, he apologizes to all of his past companions, and he mentions all of his companions from these audio dramas. I feel that canonizes the audio dramas. As part of the Time War, one could argue that it's an alternate Time War, but it's a Time War, so you got to expect some wibbly-wobbly timey-wimey.
But I don't want to spoil the future because we're not getting there yet, but it was revealed that Paul McGann was involved in the actual Time War itself.
Yes, he was.
Because we get to see his transformation into another Doctor. I'm not going to bring that up right now, but we'll talk about that another time.
Okay. We're
but yeah,
not talking about that at all tonight because I did mention put.
I know
in
you
the
had his
summary.
face on the thing, but that's not in the timeline of this series yet. We're not
Well,
going by
he does.
That's
He
the law.
does.
That's
He is the doctor between Paul
that we
McGann
weren't
and Chris
supposed to know
Eccleston.
about at this time. In fact, don't get me
Okay,
started.
yeah. No. You
Don't-
got a good point there.
Don't
Yeah.
get me started on Moffat's nonsense. I'm gonna go on a rant before we get to
I
Moffat
know.
era.
I know.
You had Paul McGann. Just make him the war doctor. I like John Hurt. Well, I'll say the
No,
rant.
I get it. I get it.
Rant.
I agree with you. I agree with you,
Stop
Boomer.
it. The whole
But at the same
numbering
time-
system is completely screwed up now.
I get it. I get it. But at the
Because
same
he doesn't
time,
care. Because he likes to mess with the fans. That's what Moffat does.
I
Speaking of
get
Moffat,
you.
let's go to Curse of Fatal Death.
dude. For fuck's sake, man, I'm gonna take you out of the stream. This is my stream. For fuck's sake,
Fine.
let me get my say on this.
Hey,
Get your
stop
say.
the Fs.
Hey, it was only one. That's one in the whole stream.
I'm
Give
sorry.
me a break.
You got me. I have anger issues with this thing.
Yes, you do. Look, here's my thing, right? I agree with you. For the most part, I agree with you, Boomer. But I also understand the BBC going, wait, we can get John Hurt to be the doctor? Screw it. Whatever we got to do to make it work, make it work.
Okay, we're going to talk about this another week.
Yeah.
I'm going to go on a rant. I like John Hurt. I think was a great actor. Another problem, he died, so we can't really use him again now, can we?
Right.
Okay. It's okay. There were so many things I forgave,
Was
and then
this his
I'm
last
like
role?
I'm like Tevier in Fiddler on the Roof when there's his daughters keep doing different things. Like first the one marries for love, then the one marries the teacher who's kind of a communist but he's still Jewish. Okay, and then there's the third daughter marries a Christian. He's like, I'm done. I can't. No. I understand.
Thank you, Robert.
Okay. Anyway, sorry, rant. You're going to hear it.
You have some very strong feelings. Dude, maybe you should think about an adult beverage once in a while.
Maybe I will when we get to the Moffat era. Maybe I'll need it.
Oh, you might have to.
Anyway, sorry, guys. Take over the stream.
Who's going to end the stream for Boomer?
You?
Okay. Are we ready to go on to the next thing?
I just gotta say,
No. Yes?
Netter's sitting across from me in a Dago tea. So, guys, this is an awesome stream for me. Just saying.
Anyway, I thought that was a perfect transition point to Curse of Fatal
Death. This is what I was talking about. It's a red... Oh, wait a minute. What did I do with my discs? Here we go.
That's not even officially available. How do you have it? Or is it? Maybe it is.
You better believe I have everything on physical media.
Whether available or not.
Yeah, I hold this up. This is the let me go full screen, right? So here is the Doctor Who 96, right? And Curse of Fatal Death. Yeah, you better believe I've got this one. Yeah, I've got them all. I've got them all on physical media. When I say own physical media, I'm not just effing around. Do it. Do it. If you care about it, own it.
Yes. The Curse of Fatal Death. This was this was a comedy special for
This
charity
was a
again?
This was a Red Nose Day special. It was a parody. This is absolutely not canon. Absolutely not.
My goodness. Okay.
Let Boomer talk.
No, it's okay. You have Rowan Atkinson as the Doctor, who I assume is supposed to be playing the Paul McGann Doctor, or is it just another Doctor? I don't know.
I think they were assuming that the Paul McGann Doctor had, turned into Rowan Atkinson.
Okay, and then you have Jonathan Pryce as the Master, who, believe it or not, I would have loved to have seen as the Master. To be fair,
he would have been great.
I'd like to see Rowan Atkinson as Doctor Who. I think he could have worked too. But it's just
so if you've only ever experienced Rowan Atkinson as Mr. Bean, You need to see Curse of Fatal Death because he plays the Doctor very well. He doesn't play him like Mr.
Oh wait,
Bean.
sorry, too far. Sorry.
Fair enough.
I need to start putting TARDIS markers in between things. I'll do that next time. Anyway, so here we have. It's a comedy thing. I think Hugh Grant shows up in it at some point.
Hugh Grant shows up. Richard E. Grant shows up. Joanna Lumley shows up.
Yes, and then his companion doesn't want to marry him anymore.
Who else? Jim Broadbent. Jim Broadbent. Look it up. Look up Jim Broadbent. You'll recognize him. There was a lot of big names who played the Doctor in this very humorous bit.
And the Daleks show up, right?
Oh, everything shows up. And I love this bit, right? So you got this picture you show has the Master with Dalek bumps. I don't remember what the story idea was.
They were supposed to be sensors the Daleks gave him or something, yes.
Dalek bumps, which are their breasts. Let's face it, their breasts.
Doctor kept calling them breasts, yes.
Who wrote this, by the way?
Stephen Moffat.
This was Stephen Moffat's first contribution to Doctor Who. We'll get to Stephen Moffat later in the stream.
Yes. I don't have much to say on this. It's fine. It's this type of British comedy that I don't know. I like British comedy. I'm a big fan.
I do too.
Of something British.
I will say this.
Okay.
What is the humor element of this is they capitalize on I should say Stephen Moffat, he capitalizes on all of the elements of Doctor Who that people have had questions about, right? So there is an element of this as the Doctor is fighting the Master. It's very much like Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. Okay, in the future, if I win, I can do this, that, and the other, and this will be available to me. So they definitely take advantage of that whole paradox thing. I believe this is also available on YouTube. Check it out. It is very, very funny. It also addresses the idea that up till now, with the exception of, the kiss of Dana Ashcroft, there is no hint of romantic relationship with a companion. This is actually the first story that shows the idea of a romantic relationship between a Doctor and a companion.
He makes a joke like, you're the first companion I've had that I've had.
Exactly. But then what happens is Rowan Atkinson's Doctor gets killed and he regenerates. And he ends up regenerating into, I want to say it's Hugh Grant. And
no, it's the other guy.
I don't remember what order they go in.
Hugh Grant comes later, yes.
And the companion's like, okay. But then he regenerates into Joanna Lumley, which American audiences might know from Absolutely Fabulous.
Yes.
And she's like, yeah, this isn't going to work for me. But it's a red-nosed day. It's very comical. It's more or less parody. You can't take it seriously. Although I will say that there is a future Doctor story that talks about there being 3 alternate Doctors. And if you think about it, the mainline Doctor Who canon, Curse of Fatal Death, and Hugh Grant played the Doctor in an animated feature, an alternate version. That seems to be what they are referencing. So That's pretty cool.
Okay, that's kind of neat. I mean, yeah. But, Yeah, so Curse of
So
Fatal
this,
Death.
yeah, don't take it too seriously. It was a lot of fun. There's the master with golden breasts.
I had
Whatever.
never heard of this. I think I encountered this by accident years after NuWho had started. Because let's face facts, the internet existed in the 2000s. I was saying it didn't, but we didn't have. It wasn't like today where you had YouTube and you had YouTubers talking about everything going on, like I guess we are now. It was the days where you'd have to look up stuff on
True.
forums, and people would talk about it, and you never knew if what you were getting was accurate. It's people talking about what's going on over in the UK, and I had started to
Well,
hear.
and see, I had mentioned this when I was in high school. This was back during the Tom Baker, up through Sylvester McCoy era. All we had was the magazines that were published only in the BBC, in the UK. And like I said, a buddy of mine that I met in high school was the one who brought the magazines he had with him and was reaching out to friends over there to send them to him. That's the only way we were able to know what was going on over in the UK regarding Doctor Who.
Yeah. And I remember we wouldn't find out what was going on with Doctor Who until months, who knows how much later, there's a new
we were sometimes years behind
Yep.
what BBC was seeing.
So rumblings start coming online that the BBC is bringing Doctor Who back, and I at first didn't believe it or didn't trust it, and then
2005, right?
And we didn't get this till later. I know we didn't get it when it aired on the BBC. I think we got
I
it
want to
later.
say it was the following year later.
I think it was the following year because I was chomping at the bit to watch this show. I was like, I want it. Why don't they put it on American TV? Eventually, we did get it on the Sci-Fi Channel. I believe they are the ones that aired it like a year later. The one advantage of the Sci-Fi Channel getting it was when it had the second season, they just basically aired them back to back. Yep. So we didn't have to wait between seasons at least. So I
do have to say too that again, this was Stephen Moffat who was the showrunner.
No, I thought it was Davies.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Davies.
Yes,
Russell T. Davies.
That's
Those
what
Moffat wrote episodes.
RTD was the showrunner, and he did a brilliant job.
Yeah,
he had the canon right. He made references back to the original series. It all worked. By introducing the companion of Rose, the first episode was called Rose. So I'm sorry, what was her name again? Who was the actress who played Rose? Somebody in the chat.
Billie Piper.
Billie Piper
was known as a pop star over in England.
Yeah, she was a big a pop music star over in the UK. I've heard some of her stuff. It's it's canned pop music of that era. Whatever.
FKHC 2005 says he got the DVDs the first season from PAL just to play them, just to see it.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, they're different formats in the UK. Yeah.
Well, see, I got all of these discs from Netflix. As Netflix got them in the US, I'm incriminating myself, but I just...
If you want to purchase them, I would like to direct people to Amazon or other stores. You can get the entire Christopher Eccleston era, also David Tennant, all in a regular DVD, not Blu-ray, but DVD set for under $20 off Amazon.
Yeah. And I got to be honest, even though I have done that, copying the Netflix, I have slowly over time been buying them because as they re-release them, there's a lot of benefits to the upgraded releases, so it's absolutely worth it. But Billie Piper, she was very much intended to be the audience insert. So if you had never seen Doctor Who before, you were supposed to see this from Rose's point of view, and you were supposed to get all the backstory you needed from her.
Yes.
And it worked. It worked really well.
First episode, It's Rose Tyler going about her daily humdrum life. I think she works in a store. Is she like a
Yep.
cashier or something?
She lives in a flat in, I want to say Cardiff. I'm
With
not
her
sure.
mom.
With her mom. Yeah, exactly.
And she has a boyfriend, Mickey Smith.
Mickey Smith. Yes.
And it's just kind of her average life. There's her mom, just so you know. Yeah.
Does anyone recognize her from anything besides Doctor Who?
Who? Billy Piper?
No, the mother.
Not off the top of my head.
You ever seen the movie King Ralph?
That's right. She was his.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, man, Billy Piper's got an attractive mom.
Darth Plato.
Oh, that's who she is.
Darth Plato.
Thank you, Darth Plato. Thank you for the $2. You guys supporting us is always so appreciated. I could stand Rose. Yeah, I dig you. I dig you.
Couldn't stand Rose.
Oh, you couldn't stand her. Well, look, that's fair too, but I'd like to know why. I liked her.
Okay, for me, it was girl, do something about the unibrow.
Oh yeah, the unibrow was kind of a thing. No, you're absolutely right about that.
I think I think some people don't like Rose. I think everything works out for Rose.
I can see that. She's not the impossible girl though.
No, but everything works out for. Well, everything doesn't work out for the impossible girl. But anyway, we'll talk about that later.
Oh no. She overstayed her welcome. Screw that girl.
I'm not as. Anyway, we'll get to her. I'm not as harsh as some people are on that companion. But
Okay, I happen to have liked Clara.
Well, I like Clara too. I just feel like she overstayed her welcome.
Well, they gave her some stupid storylines.
Yes, they absolutely did.
I like Rose. I know, laugh out loud. I hate Mickey. What's funny how Mickey Smith, I felt bad in this season. He's really not respected in the beginning. Yeah. I think toward the end of the show, he's
I am not the tin dog.
Do you remember Mickey Smith? He was what was it? He was kind of shaking in fear at the doctor, and he says, "You can come along." He says, "Not him." He says, but this was kind of a cool first episode. We get a classic Doctor Who monster that we haven't seen for a while. We get the Autons back. See?
Do you remember when the Autons were first introduced?
Spearhead from Space, the first John Pertwee episode.
Absolutely. I felt like this was a great verisimilitude, right? There was a balance here.
Yeah.
Introduce the new Doctor with the Autons. Yeah,
and the Nestine consciousness. Kind of sets up that there's going to be some weird goofiness on the show, but not really. It's kind of like, I didn't bring this up on the stream, but there was a German production show called Lex. I don't know if you remember Lex.
I remember Lex. Yeah.
And this sort of reminded me of like Lex with the Doctor on it, because it has similar tones. Very European feeling, even though it's English, but it has a very European feel to it.
By the way, the Autons will come back in the Matt Smith era. We'll talk about that later.
But anyway, so she's unsure about getting into the police box with him, and then he says, "Did I mention it travels through time?" And then she rushes toward the box. Where do they go?
Who wouldn't?
Next episode is The Day the Earth Blew Up. Remember that? Is that what it was called, or that's the Porky Pig?
I actually don't remember, but for crying out loud, it's like, oh my gosh, your first time travel. Let's go to the end of the Earth.
The end of the world. Yes, I don't want to spoil it. It's a clever little episode, and I'll say this: there's not a lot of fat this season. I feel like every episode is important.
You're absolutely right. I don't feel like there was any wasted episodes. It was like, damn, this was, if you're going to start a series, this is the way to go,
Yeah. I did remember the Last Human that was basically a stretched out face on a canvas because she'd gotten so much surgery.
Yes. Which I felt was like a kind of a dig at the people that are getting plastic surgery and stuff.
Well, Rose Tyler says, "I'm going to go talk to Michael Jackson now," like she was making a comment about it.
Right.
And she said, "I was the last pure human. The other humans mingled, and meaning they I guess they had relations with alien races." So
and what was it she kept telling her attendants, moisten me, moisten me.
Yes, moisten
because
me,
otherwise
moisten
she would
me.
dry out and turn into leather.
Yes, and then there's a murder mystery on the ship. You're trying to find out who's killing all the alien ambassadors because everyone's come to view the Earth getting blown up, right? So
Right, exactly.
because basically the Earth should have blown up a while ago because the sun was going supernova, but the humans have kept it with technology stable, I guess for posterity. But now they decide we can't really do the expense anymore because humans have moved to a new Earth at this point.
Right. Well,
But
as that's the idea, right? As the sun starts to expand, you got to leave Earth, right? But there's going to be interest in what happens to Earth, right?
yep. In fact, it was in the end of this episode that I think the Doctor mentioned that all his people were already dead, the Gallifreyans, right? He mentioned
Right, and
because they returned back to Earth.
the discussion of the whole time war. This is the introduction
It's
of
the first introduction. He doesn't say exactly what happened. I don't know. I don't remember. I should really rewatch this season. I did watch the finale before the stream because it's on HBO Max.
That was the excitement for longtime fans. It's like, what happened in between? And you're slowly getting the information of what happened in between.
Then they go back in time and they meet Charles Dickens.
Charles Dickens.
Some would argue this in some ways is the first Christmas special, even though it's not really a Christmas special.
I dig what you're saying.
Takes place at Christmas.
Yeah.
And I think they're evil spirits walking about that are really aliens or something. I don't remember. I just remembered that
Right.
Chris Reckles says, I'm such a huge fan, and he's like, at what point do I resemble a mechanical apparatus to cool you off or something? I think it was something.
Right, and he's oh no, I mean fanatic. Yeah,
fanatic.
Exactly.
Yes. Okay.
Well, no, and I love stuff like that because it forces you as a viewer to think through the idioms you use all the time. It's like, what do you mean when you say that? If you say something that is slang in the modern day, what would it mean to someone in the past? Oh, I have to explain that,
How have you liked Eccleston so far when you first started watching it?
I friggin' loved Eccleston. Just to let you know, I did a skit at a Star Trek convention. Remember, me and Mark and Netter, we all did the Klingon thing, right? So we did a skit at a convention where we had captured the Doctor.
David Tennant's Doctor.
David Tennant. And so the 10th Doctor. And we were trying him for crimes against the Klingon Empire. And we referenced all of these earlier appearances of the Doctor. And so I said, so when you say you're the Doctor, are you this guy? Or are you this guy? Or are you this guy? And I held up, I think it was David Tennant, Christopher Eccleston, and I don't remember, another one. But we did in relation to that, we did, and here's the other thing. He had a holographic badge on his shoulder, yeah, we really got into it. But we did another year, we did a trial of
William
Shakespeare in relation to the Doctor. So, yeah.
Because he stole A Christmas Carol from the Klingons.
And I will be doing a video.
Not Shakespeare, Dickens.
Right. And I will be doing a video of that on my sister channel, the Klingon Cleric,
Cool.
sometime this year, I promise.
Darth Plato says ghosts are just aliens / secular humanism never ends. Yes, this show had a secularist humanist bent
Boomer,
to it.
you can bring up comments, you know.
I know. I didn't want to overstep. You yelled at me.
No, feel free.
Okay. Anyway,
I'm too drunk to even read anymore, so you need to.
Ghosts are just okay. They're Davies, and I can't probably because Davies is a secular humanist. A lot of this stuff would pop up, not so obvious in the earlier seasons of this new series. It got kind of obnoxious toward the end.
Well, and in fairness, this kind of plays into the whole Doctor Who shtick. So no,
but here's the on past shows, I never got the idea that the Doctor was like an atheist. In fact, I think even it might have even been Davidson mentioned, like when someone was asking, "Well, what caused that?" or something. Well, he says, "Well, God." He kind of says it like that. There's also a lot of references to Buddhist stuff in Doctor Who, so I never got the idea that this was
especially in the third Doctor. Yeah.
So
absolutely.
I never got the impression that this was a universe where there wasn't a God.
No, there was a period where the Doctor was like
the Black Guardian, the Light Guard, the White Guardian. Also, these.
No, that's a good point.
Yes,
where the Doctor was so far above humans, and he was like humble enough to realize there's probably something above him too.
Yes, but to be fair, Tennant might come. I think he gets confronted with that in a later episode, but we'll get to that when we get to the next
literal
Doctor.
devil later. Yeah.
Well, yes. Like I said, I would have plowed through, but let's go through Eccleston though. But then we get our first two-parter,
the Slitheen.
Some people hate this design. I don't know. I think
so at this current point, Netter and I do not have a pet, but we have talked about if we were to get a cat or a dog, what would we name?
Meaty Bits.
Oh, now it's Meaty Bits.
Oh, why? What was the other one?
Raxacoricathorus.
Shush. Raxacoricathorus.
Yeah, she's sober, so she can say it.
You couldn't say it even when you were sober.
That's true.
And if we got two, one would be Raxacoricathorus, and the other one would be Plum.
Who wants to be Plum?
So the first part of this two-parter, it starts with the Doctor drops Rose Tyler off, and he says, "Look, 12 hours later, next day, and she goes to visit her mom, and her mom like almost faints, and it's like, Rose, and it's like, then the Doctor looks, oh, I did 12 months, not 12 hours. And she was missing for a year. Poor Mickey Smith, like the cops thought he did something to Rose, and they were questioning him, and he's like, he was very upset.
That's fair.
Because they thought the boyfriend might have murdered her and hid the body, and then like the mom accused him of that too. Like she was last with you, Mickey, and it's like this whole thing, and it's this big disaster.
Well, wait a minute. So what you're talking about is this whole idea that things that we kind of glossed over with previous Doctors we're like focusing on.
Brilliant.
This Doctor.
I'll give Davies credit for that. Whoever wrote this.
I agree. Yeah.
And then you have then of course you have a UFO, I think, crash into Big Ben or skirt Big Ben, and it's like, oh wow, now we got aliens in London.
Yep.
Remember that?
Yep.
And I think it's this pig creature that and then I think the Doctor says, I think the Doctor gets brought in by the government, right? And it's like
I do need to warn the chat. Mm-hmm. I need to warn the chat. I am completely oblivious to the comments. If you don't super chat, I'm not going to be aware of anything.
I will try to keep an eye on them for Troy.
But the designated driver and the bouncer need to keep an eye on the chats because I'm blotto.
Anyway, but this is the introduction of the Slitheen, who I believe have now hidden themselves in higher positions of the British government because they have human skins they hide under. Yes.
Wait a minute, and speaking of the Slitheen. We are going to, I don't think we're talking about it tonight, but Sarah Jane has the Sarah Jane Adventures that revisits the Slitheen.
Thank you.
The
Slitheen are actually a family. They are not an alien. They're an alien species. But
they are from
I don't know.
Raxacoricophalopatorius.
Raxacoricophalopatorius.
Thank you. I'm too drunk to say it, but yes.
Anyway, I knew we were going to get to a two-parter because it has Celine electrocuting, I guess, a bunch of government officials or something, or like maybe what's left of UNIT. I don't know. It's not UNIT, but it's some other government defense.
I love the fact that they kept alive UNIT, and addressed.
I don't know if they were introduced in this episode though, because they knew of the Doctor, so they said, "Oh, they've dealt with me before. They're bringing me in," and they're electrocuting everybody, and then the Doctor is able to actually fight back, and he says, "Why isn't this working? Because I have two hearts." So they kill all the humans in the room.
You're wrong on something. The Absorbaloff was from Raxacoricophalopatorius.
No. He was from Plum.
Oh, right. He was from Plum.
He was from Plum.
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
Which is the sister planet
to Raxacoricophalopatorius.
There you go.
Anyway, though, it was kind of neat. This was, I don't know. I mean, the Sladine, I thought they should have been a one-off. I don't think we need to see them again, but they were.
But we do, and we see them in the Sarah Jane Adventures. We'll talk about that another night.
All right. Rose leaves again with the Doctor. They go to Utah.
Rose, blonde. I've got a type. Let me.
Okay. Turns out somewhere in Utah, there's an American, I guess a rich American guy that has found a Dalek and is, doing things with it, right, or something, or trying to find out.
Yep.
And of course, the Doctor is like, "You have to get rid of this thing." He says, "What's your nearest city?" "Salt Lake City. Everyone's dead if this thing gets out."
Yeah, he's not wrong. Yeah, absolutely.
And it gets revived because I guess it's crying or something, and Rose Tyler touches it because she's a time traveler. Whatever tachyon particle nanites or whatever the heck was on her, basically the Dalek uses it to restore itself, and it starts killing everybody in the facility. I will say this is my introduction where I don't know if this is a criticism or not, but I do feel that the Daleks in this NuWho are almost too powerful. They're almost invincible in some ways. They're very hard to kill, more so than on the old show.
But it does establish an idea going forward, and it's kind of cool.
I don't know. I was mixed on it, but it's okay.
I dig it. Yeah.
Anyway, I think one of the guys from the facility goes, "Where there's a future," she's like, "Can I bring this guy along?" Because I guess he was a cute guy. So he time travels with the Doctor. I think he's also British, and they end up in the future, and Simon Pegg's there, and people can get information downloaded. People can get information downloaded into their brains by their foreheads opening up, and they can get the information sent to them. Do you remember this episode at all?
This was a commentary on a reality TV, as I remember.
No, that's later.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
No, this is basically, I think the Doctor gets annoyed with the main character because when he leaves Rose, he decides, "Hey, I'm going to get all the technology of the future input into my brain, and then I can go back in time and invent everything and become rich." That was his idea. Right. The Doctor found out and then scrambled some signal he sent to himself over his answering machine, so he couldn't download into his head. But he still had the mechanism in his head that would open his forehead. So when his mom,
we're talking about one season, you definitely need to check out.
Yes. Anyway, it's kind of a one-off episode. Moving on. This is the tearjerker, Father's Day.
Oh.
Rose never got to know her dad.
This is a great when it comes to time paradoxes, this is a great episode. Yeah.
Rose wants to go back in time and meet her dad. She always heard about him from her mom, but I don't know if she's real little, if she wasn't even born yet, because I think his mom.
And the problem is, she wants to do this thing, and the Doctor is okay with it up to a point, and she breaks all the rules.
Yes, she prevents him from dying. She stops him from being hit by a car. And it causes all sorts of disasters. These creatures come out start eating away at the timeline or something. And he said, if my people could have fixed this, the Time Lords, they could have stopped.
Right. So
but
this
they're no
is
longer
where we
around.
established that the Time Lords aren't in charge of anything anymore. Because they're gone.
Yeah. And I like how they you learn more things as the show goes on about what's happened since the prior incarnations of the Doctor. But give me a moment. All right. But yeah, and it's kind of tragic, and it's who saves the day at the end of this episode.
Him.
Her dad does. Her dad realizes I'm supposed to die.
It's like, I'm supposed to die. I'm going to die.
I have to die, otherwise everyone's going to get killed, and horrible things are going to happen. I have to reset and make things right. So
show me one father who wouldn't fall on his sword to save his daughter. Just say it.
And there she is. She's the last one with him when he dies.
This is a tough episode. Yeah.
This was a rough one to get through, and he got really angry at Rose too. Like he was saying, "It's the problem with you humans. You're not interested in you want to know what can time travel do for me." Now, to be fair, her selfishness is trying to rescue a loved one, where the other guy just wanted to get rich. But the Doctor was getting a little cross with her in this episode.
Yeah.
But I think she learned her lesson.
Oh, so here we go. This is the first Stephen Moffat episode.
JPR-EH1 says, I did.
Child.
Are you my mummy?
I didn't hate this episode.
You didn't hate any episode this season. No, I'll say this. I thought this was them.
Are you my mummy? Are you my mommy?
Do you know where Russell T Davies got the idea for how to do this show? He was a big fan of Buffy the Vampire Slayer and was trying to do these these arcs that would go over the whole season. He used Buffy as kind of a blueprint for this. Are You My Mummy? And I remember this is the first introduction of Captain Jack Harkness. This is taking place during the Blitz over London.
Look, the American audience probably missed a lot of the elements of this episode. I did not. Look, Netter's mom was a survivor of the Blitz.
Wow, that's rough.
And so I did a lot of looking into this, and I was like, I kind of dig what this story is doing. And this whole idea of Britain has a very different concept of World War II from what the U.S. does. Yeah. And so I was able to see this episode for what it was from the point of view of the UK. And I'm watching this episode and I'm like, God, this is heart-wrenching, right?
Yeah. And you see these kids, and it's like,
and this is horror. This is this whole idea of people that die and come back as, for the sake of the story, undead. It makes no sense, and it is horrifying, but it very much speaks to the UK zeitgeist and this whole idea of, if you live through the Blitz. Anyway, take it away. I'm too drunk to
it's okay. I mean, I remember that this episode, this is an introduction of Captain Jack.
This was the introduction of Captain Jack,
who we learn is actually a human from the far future.
Yep.
Who was able to ride a time stream with some weird device, but the Doctor made fun of us. So that's not real time travel. There's another thing I kind of get bothered by other people being able to time travel. He doesn't have a time machine, though. He has like a device.
It's a portion. It's an element of the TARDIS, but it's not the whole thing. It's like, I can travel through time, but it doesn't have the counterbalance that the TARDIS has.
And they make a point that Captain Jack is attracted to both men and women, which
He claims to be pansexual.
the excuse was in the future humans had to become attracted to anything to mate with aliens. That was what Russell T Davies said. I think it was his idea of being able to put in romances he sort of wanted to put in this on these shows.
And keep in mind that the actor who plays Jack Harkness is himself gay, so
He is? I didn't
yes,
know
he
that.
is. Yes,
Okay.
he is.
All right.
Also,
Boral Man, right?
also, he is he is Scottish American, so he is able to switch between both accents.
He was big in theater though, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean
He played in, what was that Springtime for Hitler thing?
Oh, the producers.
The Producers, right. And he plays the character who sings, "And now it's springtime for Hitler and Germany." Yeah, you can find that on YouTube as well. Look, it's
Anyway,
springtime.
but this is Captain Jack. I felt like the companions are starting to get interesting, so now you have Captain Jack. But Captain Jack doesn't stay. He's kind of. I like Torchwood a lot too, JPRPH1. We may have to do this
Netter
on the
wants
show
me
one day.
to drink root beer to sober up.
All right. But okay, I did want to bring up this two-part episode. Someone said that nobody died. This is correct. The Doctor actually is able to figure out how to either help or stop this alien menace.
Was this the empty child? Yes. I love that episode because I love that line
He
about
not only saves the children,
just this once, everybody lives.
and he used something from this thing that actually had some guy who was missing a leg or something. My leg's back. How did that happen? It's like, it's like,
yeah. So the whole idea behind this, I'm kind of ruining an episode. You should check it out. But this whole episode, The Empty Child, there is this medical program running that is trying to help people, and it's turning them all into these weird zombies with gas masks because it doesn't understand what a human is supposed to look like. And when the Doctor fixes it, everything gets fixed. And so everyone who had died is healed. Everyone who lost a limb is healed. It's honestly a great story. It is, for as dark as the episode starts out, it is probably one of the most triumphant Doctor episodes.
drink some water.
Well, I'm drinking some non-carbonated root beer, so yeah.
Root beer is nice. I like root beer.
Yeah.
Let me see. So, but yeah, we get another episode with the Slitheen woman who I think becomes a baby Slitheen at the end, and I guess she just was tired of her life, but instead of her dying, I guess she ends up getting. I don't know if the Doctor turns into a child or something. I think it was a way.
The Slitheen are cool. They show
we
up.
want to give her a do-over, and we'll bring her back to her people, and then she'd be raised differently.
The Slitheen get a reprise in the Sarah Jane Adventures,
yes,
which is a spin-off that is really worth checking out.
Children's spin-off series, yes.
It kind of is. It kind of gets back to the whole idea behind Doctor Who being a children's show.
We've had a few Doctor Who spin-off series. I think at least.
Yeah. As opposed to Torchwood, which is very much an adult spin-off.
Oh, Torchwood. We may have to do this not right now, but maybe in the far future. Yeah. After we take a break from Doctor, we could always talk about spin-off series. But as long as the chat's not getting bored with Doctor Who, but it's a lot to get through. So now we get to the. I want to say, is this the? Yeah, this is.
Oh, this is the takeoff on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
You are the weakest link, right?
You are the weakest link.
The weakest link, and it's weird because I think they brought this out here in America, and they had the British host from the UK over here, and she'd make her little
Yep.
snide comments to each of the guests, and I think Americans weren't used to that brusqueness that they have in
She was brutal. She treated everyone like they were stupid.
And this is
And
far
I don't know. I felt it was kind of cool.
But this is the far future where they're doing this. The human race still has these reality shows, and it's a robot version of her. She even got the red hair. Do you see that? That's a robot version. There's
a robot in her role.
The Big Brother houses. I think. I think what was it? Rose gets stuck on this. I forget where Jax shows up. I know that the Doctor ends up in the Big Brother house, and I guess these are all takeoffs on popular British.
So the idea was
reality TV shows,
just like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Yeah.
If you,
I mean that one.
Oh. Just like in Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, right? You are the Winkus League. Goodbye. But in this,
they get
when
disintegrated.
Goodbye, they get disintegrated. Yeah.
And it was just, of course, you find out that that's not actually the case, but it looked like that when you're watching this.
Yeah.
Something more sinister happens to them, actually.
And you kind of ruined that, but yeah.
We're ruining it. It's how old is this show at this point? Y'all have not caught up on it now. It's on HBO Max, or you could buy the whole set.
Yeah. It's worth it. It's worth it.
It's like trying to ruin the Passion of the Christ by saying that Jesus was nailed to a cross.
Yeah, that the main character gets nailed to a tree, man.
Speaking of which, we're gonna have it. We're gonna talk about that on Sunday. We have Passion of the Christ news, because it's in the news lately. So who's behind all these horrible reality TV shows where humans?
The Daleks, of course.
I wasn't expecting this. I thought the Dalek thing was the big thing we saw a few episodes ago, where we ran to the last Dalek. That wasn't the last Dalek. There are a lot of Daleks in this.
Yup.
This is the big season finale. The humans of the future, essentially, they know of the Daleks, and they say, "Oh, they've been gone for hundreds of years or something." No, they're back.
Yep.
And who is leading them but the Emperor Dalek? I like this shot. You see them kind of silhouetted in front. There's the Emperor Dalek.
Yep.
You know the Emperor Dalek, right? He was a big villain.
Absolutely. This was set up a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I forget what he said. I think the Rose says, so he's been making Daleks out of humans, so the Daleks are now part human, and they start saying blasphemer, because the Daleks have found religion. They see the Emperor Dalek as their god, right? And it's just, good adversary for the season finale of this show. And oh wait, I'm going too far. Hold on. I should have had more pictures of the finale.
Yeah.
This shows just how brutal the Daleks are. They're killing a lot of people, and they're basically gonna, because they were hiding.
Which, let's face it,
they were slowly building their numbers over time.
We were already digging the Daleks as the big bads from the original series.
Yeah.
The new folks needed to realize the Daleks are the big bads.
Yeah.
You need to. There's a great one, and we'll get into it probably next week, where everyone just thinks the Daleks are like the ultimate death. It's like, we're fucked. The Daleks are here. We're dead. Never
cared for the idea of an Emperor Dalek. Well, to be fair, I think you might not have been used to the Emperor Dalek, because I don't think the Emperor Dalek was ever on any of the episodes we got here in North America, because that's from the Troughton
keep in
era.
mind that we had different factions within the Daleks.
That's true.
So there was one that had the Emperor Daleks. There was one that followed Davros. There was they were all in competition with each other, and they all claimed to be the pure Daleks.
There's some brutal deaths in this. Humans are getting killed left and right. The Doctor has an idea that he's going to send some kind of ion ray. I don't remember what it was to wipe out the Daleks, but the Emperor says, you don't want her, but you know that if you do that, you'll wipe out the Earth as well. And he's like, there's still humans on colonies out in space. The human race will survive, but
Good
it's
point.
the only way I can have to kill you. And then basically the Emperor says, "What are you, Doctor? A killer or coward?" And he can't do it. He can't wipe out the Earth.
What's great is it sets up the Doctor to commit genocide.
Well, it's a parallel because he did the same thing with the Time Lords with Gallifrey, didn't he? To get rid of the Daleks, and
Exactly.
he was guilt ridden over that. And now he's in the same position again with the Earth.
Exactly.
And he's
exactly.
And he said the Time Lords had to get destroyed them. See, the Time Lords were destroyed, but they took the Daleks with them. At the time, I thought it was almost worth it, but not now that the Daleks are back. And it looks like the Daleks are going to triumph. He sends Rose back in time with the TARDIS and says, "Look, let it grow old. Live your life. You can't be here." And Rose can't take it. She says, "In the future, there are all these people going to die, and I'm back here just living my life normal." But even Mickey Smith and her mom come around to helping her, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
But you see some character growth on their part too, and she's able to get back to the future. I think does she stare into the Eye of Harmony?
She stares into the Eye of Harmony and takes it into herself, and it's going to burn her up. She can't handle it.
Yeah, because a human can't handle it, but it kind of gives her these extraordinary powers. She's able to atomize every Dalek, and she says, I can bring back the dead," and she brings Captain Jack back to life. Remember, he comes back to life. But
not only does she bring him back to life, she makes him immortal.
We didn't know that at the time, though.
We didn't know that at the time, but that is an important point later on.
So the Doctor doesn't, but then she's like, I can't control this. She saved the day, but she can't control all of the.
Yeah, it's too much.
And he says, "Well, I'm the Doctor," and he kisses her and takes whatever's the energy that's in her into himself. But of course, that's going to kill him, or at least cause him. He says, "My people have an old trick. It's called regeneration. But it's the last time." And he says,
and what it means is, I'm going to change.
Remember what he says, though? He says, "Rose Tyler, you were fantastic, and so was I." And then he changes.
So was I.
Yes.
And then he regenerates.
And he regenerates into.
Yep. David
Tennant, who
the 10th Doctor,
who is many people's favorite Doctor, at least for a long time. He was the one that kind of, in some ways,
I would argue that David Tennant is the Tom Baker of the new Doctor Who era.
But loved Eccleston. Would have liked to have seen more of him, but I thought he made his stay count.
Yep.
And I felt like even though he only had one season, it did count. So Barcelona, he wanted to take her to.
Here's the interesting thing. On one hand, in the episode Rose, the very first episode of the Eccleston era, we get the distinct impression that he is newly regenerated. Why is that? Because at one point he passes in front of a mirror, and he turns and looks, and he's like, "Yeah, I got big ears." He hasn't seen himself.
I had assumed the prior Doctor had been Paul McGann, but it's a story for another time.
Absolutely. But the fact is, we don't know for sure. He could have had plenty of adventures as the Christopher Eccleston Doctor before. No, you're probably right. If
they hadn't done that, and they shouldn't have done that, they could have done that. Now, to be fair, maybe they could still wiggle their way around that. But
I agree. You're probably right.
I wouldn't have put in that little comment about that he had recently regenerated. I would have left that out of there. But what do I know?
Agreed.
I'm not the showrunner. Anyway, did you like the new logo, by the way, for Doctor Who? It's okay.
I didn't have a problem with it, and what's funny is it looks very much like the logo on the top of a British taxi. I thought it was very funny.
Yes. So that was it for NuWho. Were you satisfied? But be fair, though, over here we didn't have to wait too long to get to the next Doctor. I remember that
is very true. Yeah,
I remember thinking at the time this was a huge deal. This was just I mean, I didn't think Doctor Who was ever going to come back.
Right.
Navakoya. I thought it was
Right.
done, dead and buried, not coming back. And apparently, you know who helped bring it back over in England? They said part of it was Blue Peter would talk about
Sure.
Doctor Who, and
Sure.
they
Sure.
said a lot of the kids, like teenage, like kids, would start doing, they started learning about Doctor Who through the internet and talking to each other about it, starting, websites and stuff for Doctor Who,
Yep.
and the BBC knew that
Well, and
there
that's
was an
kind of the
interest in
way
this.
all of us Americans kind of got into it as well.
Yeah. So a lot of the young kids over in England were kind of craving the Doctor back. That's how the BBC thought maybe we can bring this back. And I remember they would they did these things where they would interview children after watching
Yep.
this new Who, and how
Yep.
many of them were scared of all the horrible monsters on it.
Yeah. So going back to the original first Doctor, really,
Yeah.
there was this British zeitgeist concept of hiding behind the couch.
Yeah,
And
they were doing that. Yeah.
this was a social concept of, I'm so scared of what I saw on the TV, the Dalek, I'm going to hide behind the couch. So this whole idea of the Daleks causing you to hide behind the couch became a very common, at least British cultural touchstone.
Yeah.
Very
I always thought the return of Who was inevitable. Well, see, I don't know. It's never a guarantee. I'm still waiting for the return of Space 1999, though. I heard
in
it's
a way,
return as a
you're
BBC modern
right.
drama.
When you have something that's a moneymaker, you need to go back to it. And I do feel like Doctor Who, and I alluded to this in my opening monologue, and I'm going to double down on this. Doctor Who is, after its second season of Shudigatwa, is going to not be renewed. It's not going to be canceled. It's just going to be on hiatus for however long, until somebody with a freaking ounce of brains comes along and reboots it.
Yeah. And who knows what
And
shape that'll take, but yeah.
and who knows? It may be 5 years, 10 years, who knows? Who knows?
Now,
But that being said, I have to say that the same is probably true for. Oh, here we go. Yeah.
we're not going to talk about the episode. We'll say that for next week. But I remember previews for the Christmas invasion. It said at the end, Doctor Who will return in the Christmas invasion, and then you see like the BBC, and you see the Santa Claus, and it's raising, or Father Christmas, I should say, and it's raising something up to its mouth, and it looks like it's some kind of laser gun. It's like,
And in
what is going
fairness,
on?
this is going to be next week.
David Tennant.
We end with Christopher Eccleston kissing Rose in order to take all the time energy away from her. She looked into the Eye of Harmony, and she can't handle it. She's going to die. But the Doctor can regenerate. So he kisses her, takes all of that onto himself, begins to regenerate. And I love that he takes the time to explain that he is dying, but that means he's going to change.
That first season, if you were in Doctor Who new, but explains everything to you, or at least the
Yes,
basics of
they
what you
did a
expect.
great job. They did a great job of walking you through it. And because you're following it with Rose. You are Rose. Rose is your insert. So she reacts to the fact that the Doctor has changed. You're not the Doctor. Yes, I am. No, you're not. Yes, I am.
I think she said to you, well, we'll get to that episode next week. I wanted to,
Mm-hmm.
yes. Yeah, I got the impression this was another rough regeneration, but to be fair, he absorbed whatever was in her, so that he's lucky to survive that too.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was
There is the implication that every time the Doctor regenerates, it's not an easy thing. It's like being born. It is a huge challenge, and there's no guarantee it's going to work.
Yeah. That's why I was always suspicious. I think at one time it didn't work and we got the Valyard, but we never went back to that. But
Well, there's that. Yeah.
anyway, here we
Yeah,
are.
we'll talk about Bad Wolf next week.
Well,
Absolutely.
no, Bad Wolf was all throughout this season. We kept
Yes.
getting hints about like the Bad Wolf Corporation, I think, or Bad Wolf something, Bad Wolf written on the wall. You kept
It
wondering what
was
was
it
Bad
was an
Wolf.
Easter egg that keep coming
It
up,
was,
and you're like,
and
this means something.
and
Yeah.
remember, the doctor goes to the Emperor Dalek, says, "You were leaving me clues that you were still alive all throughout this, weren't you?" And he's like,
Yup.
"It wasn't my design. Yes, it was. No, it wasn't." And him, the Emperor Dalek, are arguing. It was Rose Tyler that did it. She
Yes, it
set
was.
everything up when she looked in the Iron Army. She set all this stuff up so that it would lead them to this and to stop the Daleks. I think, yeah.
I see all of your futures, and I disperse you.
So I guess she's the
He
impossible.
became a god for a little while. Yeah, that's pretty creepy. Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, there we have it, Doctor Who. And this was a strong, very strong series one, not season. I keep wanting to call it season. It's series.
Series.
Yeah.
They call it series in Britain, what we call season in the U.S.
Well, the old Doctor Who referred to as seasons as well, but now we're on series. Now I don't know.
True.
Now I think they're back to season one again.
I don't know.
I don't even know how
Don't
they
care.
categorize this. Did they do
Don't
that with
care.
the last one too? Ah, here we are. What was this one with the Davros essentially living in the Daleks' basement? I don't know. I think that was the one where was that I forget. Was that Destiny of the Daleks where Doctor found him? No, actually he found him in the ruins of where he was left last time, I think. Somehow he survived.
Yeah.
Everyone always survives. That's the thing. You think your horrible villains are gone and they come back, but
That is
more on that later.
the seed of Doctor Who. Whatever they need for the next episode, that happens.
They never brought the terrible Zoden back, and I'd love to see what Zoden was like, but that episode was lost. Unless maybe they reconstituted it now. That was apparently a big villain in the Troughton era, and I think it was a woman.
True.
We never saw her again. I'm wondering, well, what was she like? But anyway, that's it. But I have to say, I remember thinking around this time, wow, England's getting cool again, whereas America's not.
So you think next week we get into David Tennant, right?
Next
and
week will be David Tennant,
just like Tom Baker. David Tennant gets his own.
We'll see. I don't. We're going on with Matt Smith. I don't know if we give Matt Smith his own stream or not, but we'll figure it out after next week. I don't know how long you guys want us to carry on this for. Let's carry on.
Yeah. You know,
another British aphorism.
We're on what 5-6 episodes of Doctor Who here, but you know why we're doing it? Because Doctor Who sucks now, and we're trying to let you know there was Doctor Who before this. And it was pretty damn awesome.
We were originally this started out because I basically was thinking the writing has to be on the wall at this new show. I know it's getting canceled, and part of me thought we should just.
I told you after this season, the rumors currently are. Look, there's people behind the scenes saying we don't expect to have a job next year. After season 2, they're going on hiatus, and we're not going to see Doctor Who for 5-10 years.
Now, I have a question. There was another Dalek-related IP about, it was a comic book series, I think, that was about this human in the future that fought the Daleks, right?
Could be.
He's the other enemy of the Dalek that the Daleks know of, that they speak of in fear besides the Doctor. And I always thought maybe they should adapt that into a series while they figure out.
So here's the thing. The Daleks are... were created by Terry Nation. Terry Nation collaborated with Doctor Who, and he was the creator and showrunner for Blake 7. And the thing was, he owned the rights to the Daleks, but BBC got to keep using them as long as they kept doing stuff with them every so often. Kind of like all the BS that's going on with Marvel's rights and all that kind of crap. Anyway, they've never been able to separate the Daleks from Doctor Who because the Doctor Who showrunners keep using the Daleks however they can, however often they need to keep the rights. But Terry Nation had an idea to break free from Doctor Who and do his own thing with it. Yes.
But there is another property that just has the Daleks in it. I guess it still takes place in the Doctor Who universe, but it's
Probably.
about a future human that is kind of a renegade, and he fights the
Yes.
Daleks. And I don't know that off the top of my head. Someone in the chat might know of this.
It's very, very interesting. I'm going to have to look into that.
I think it was a comic series at least, and I was thinking,
Probably.
can't they just adapt that into a series while Doctor was on hiatus? Give us something.
That would be interesting.
Because it's not really related to Doctor Who per se, because it's just about it does feature the Daleks though.
Probably not because of the whole BBC Terry Nation.
But wouldn't they want to do
thing.
that to hold on to the license anyway?
FFI, no, I don't know.
This whole Terry Nation license drove me crazy too, because
It is.
I would have
crazy.
I would have amended the deal says we can use anything created by Terry Nation, including the Daleks. So if there's seasons where the writers don't want to use the Daleks, you can use another Terry Nation.
Dude, there was a period where there was talk about a crossover between Blake Seven and Doctor Who.
Yes, you had mentioned
and it
that.
actually works, given the Earth timeline in Doctor Who. There is a period in time where Blake Seven would fit perfectly.
Yeah. But
so if in your own head canon, Blake Seven and Doctor Who are in the same universe, you're probably not far off the mark. It probably works.
I just got the feeling in some later seasons of Doctor Who, they would kind of just have a Dalek episode or have a Dalek show up in a brief point just to keep the license, because the writers.
I agree with you. That's exactly right. That's exactly
I mean, even in the Tom Baker era, there were plenty of seasons that didn't feature
that whole bullcrap thing of the Daleks in World War II. Yeah, that was just
with Winston Churchill. We'll get there. Yeah. Oh, Matt Smith era, which is because I like him. There were some storylines during that era which will drive me crazy. Anyway,
so that is the in between and the first season of the reboot
series. Yes,
Doctor
Eccleston.
Who,
Eccleston, great doctor. Miss you, but you were replaced by David Tennant.
I understand that he had some real issues behind the scene with RTD, but
I've heard that, but we'll see. Yeah.
Honestly, in retrospect, I would tend to take Eccleston's side. Just saying. But so anyway, that is it for tonight. Next week we'll hit the Tennant era, unless you people in the chat want to hear about something else. If you're sick of Doctor Who, let me know. If there's something else you'd like to hear about, let me know. Please.
We still have to do Schumacher Batman movies.
Dude, I'm getting ready to do a stream just frickin' on Batman Resurrection.
Batman Resurrection? Okay.
This is a damn good book, and Boomer, you need to read this book.
I will try to read it. I'll put it on my list. Maybe we can both talk about it. Yeah,
absolutely. I would appreciate if both of us were up to date.
The first Last Call book club.
The first Last Call book club. Yeah, I like that. But I really need to hear from you guys. What do you want to see what do you want to see us talking about? Because I'm looking to you guys to make this stream your own. I really do want to know what you guys think, and I'm very, very open. Anyway, so next week we're currently planning on the Tennant era of Doctor Who, and so tomorrow night or later tonight, depending on where you are in the time stream, Netter and I will be joining Big Al Presents for the Ralph Bakshi Lord of the Rings. Very much looking forward to that.
Oh yeah, that was a big deal when it came out.
And a reminder to all of my my listeners, especially members, get over to criticlist.com. I'm going to ask you every time we do a rewatch to go over to Critic List and do a review for whatever we watch. And let them know I sent you, because who knows? Maybe it scores me some brownie points with another big YouTuber, right? So that is tomorrow night on Big Al Presents. If you are following, and you should be following Deleted Scenes, last night he had his coming attractions. Go check that video out to find out what he's got going on for the weekend. But at 8 Central, 9 Eastern, what are we going to be talking about on Geeky Geezers?
We got some topics this week. It's kind of an odd topics, because we're talking about some issues going on with apparently the Netflix version of Passion of the Christ. I did more research on that. I found some very bizarre things. I'm going to talk about them.
Yeah, this is one of those, we're kind of working past the narrative. And we're going to bring you a little bit more than that. So this
because I know the knee jerk thing is to go after. Trust me, there's lots I can hate Netflix for, but I don't know if this
may not be Netflix's fault.
Yes. But what else is there? There's a new trailer,
which may actually be a narrative that you will not hear on the other YouTube channels you're following. So this is why I always encourage you, join us for Geeky Geezers.
And there's going to be we're going to be doing a. We're going to be talking about the 28 years later trailer. Remember 28 days later? Remember that? Now it's years.
It was 28 days, 28 months, 28 years. Yeah.
I'm just desperate for something zombie that isn't either Walking Dead or Last of Us. I want something else.
I'll go with 28. I'm with you 100%.
I need a zombie movie. I'll go with 20. I didn't care as much for 28 weeks later, but 28 Days, that's a good one, and I'll look forward to the sequel. And of course, Christopher Eccleston was in 28 Days Later. That's right.
Yes, he was. That's absolutely right.
He was a villain in that, actually. But yes.
And what are we going to be doing at roughly around midnight Eastern time on Sunday?
Well, we will be doing a special.
All of the three of us that you see on the screen right now.
We will be on Deleted Scenes channel for reserved seats, I believe, because he wants to do a Geeky Geezers talk.
Yeah,
I'll try to stay for at least for a good 45 minutes.
You and Netter may drop out early. I'll stick with.
But I'll try to stay at least till 12:45. I'll try.
Fair enough.
Because it is important. Yeah, but I'm trying to think what else is going on.
So Monday night. Monday is for those of you that are members here on my channel, and if you're not a member, remember membership starts as low as $2 a month
for 4 movies.
An average of 4 movies every Monday our members get to enjoy on my channel. This week, it's looking like, based on the overwhelming votes I've gotten from the members, we're going to be watching This Is Spinal Tap, a movie that Netter and I have not yet seen. So we will definitely be watching that this Monday. And are you going to join us for that, Age of Boomer?
I can't make any promises, but I'll try. It is the funniest movie of all time.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I know you've been talking it up.
Yes.
I know you are struggling with some work.
Well, it's school and work, but if I can make it, I'll make it. I'll let you know.
Awesome. So that's Monday night. Tuesday night, of course, 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern on Deleted Scenes channel. All of us here on the chat with Deleted Scenes will be wrapping up the Secret History of Twin Peaks. We'll be talking about that, followed immediately thereafter by the last episode of the second season of Blake 7, Star 1, which if you've been following along with us or if you have any interest in Blake 7, you're going to want to be there for that. This is going to be a great episode on Tuesday. Thursday, over on Netter's Network. What's happening, Netter?
Well, it's going to be you and me shooting the breeze since I don't currently have a guest.
Well, unless we can find ourselves a YouTuber that wants to promote his channel.
Or hers.
Or hers. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like if you want to promote, it doesn't matter. I mean, it started out that it was just YouTube, but if you want to promote YouTube, Twitter, Rumble, whatever channel you've got, Twitch,
right?
Or there's just something you're really passionate about that you want to let other people know about, drop me a DM on Twitter. You might have to follow me to initially contact me, but after that, you can unfollow me. I don't care. But then let me know what there's you'd be interested in, and I'd love to have you. What are you giggling about?
Just follow me, and if you unfollow me, I don't care.
That's what I thought was funny. I'm sorry.
Well, it's like, I mean, I go into Twitter to promote the streams and that sort of thing. Occasionally drop a funny, to make somebody laugh, but I don't really do much on Twitter. I mean, it's not like my end-all be-all place, so you follow me, unfollow me, I don't care.
I understand. I get what you're saying. Okay.
There you go.
Like Facebook. I will not accept friend requests anymore because I'm never on there.
Right.
Oh, Facebook. I never liked it. I liked MySpace. Yes, I was on MySpace at one point.
I remember MySpace. I had a MySpace.
You used to be able to do all sorts of things to your page. It was neat.
Yeah, you can make up whatever you wanted.
But Twitter is the Twitter X, whatever, is the easiest way to contact me because I do check for messages there at least once or twice a day.
And you know what? I don't promote this as much as I really should, but guys, take a look in the description below. There's a lot of great stuff I've got going on, whether it's on MeWe, Discord. We just keep this community rolling throughout the week. So check out the links you see in the description below. It's worth it. And if you want a little bit of extra connection to the community, membership is only $2 a month. Just think about it. I could really use the support. It really keeps me going here, and it really ties you into what we got going on here. So there you go. But that is mostly the weekend review that we've got coming up. Anything I missed that needs to be shared, Age of Boomer?
No, looking forward to next week, and like I said, check us out during the week. We got
make sure you are subscribed to Age of Boomer, to Netters Network. Let's face it, I'm a drunk asshole, so they are the ones that really make all of this work.
Yes.
So you really should be subscribing to them, and especially with these slideshows or whatever. This is all Age of Boomer. He's doing this during the week while I'm just setting up the streams. I mean,
anyway,
just giving credit where credit is due. Just saying.
Cool. All right.
But seriously, check out the description below. You probably don't look at it, but everybody's links are below, including all the people, all the blue wrenches that help out with the chat. All the members that support us, that make all this happen. Subscribe to all of them. This is a great community, and we appreciate having you a part of it. Right?
Yeah.
So there you go. Boomer, Netter, anything I missed that needs to be covered that I haven't covered?
You all are Osmo.
Yep, that's Netter's thing. Yep. You guys are Osmo. That's better than awesome. Boomer, last thoughts or words?
I miss the days when we would have these cool shows like the new Doctor Who.
Me too. This is why we do these streams. To let you know that there's physical media and streaming stuff out there that you can enjoy that existed before all the bullshit.
JPRPH1 sent a super chat.
Thank you so much, JPRPH1. It's pair character bowing down, saying thank you. So it's a $10 super chat to say thank you. Thank you so much, JPRPH1.
I assume that's what it looks like.
You are a channel member, so you are already supporting me on a monthly basis. So I super appreciate that so much. Really, I mean, I couldn't do this if you guys weren't supporting me. And look, when I say you are true bastions of culture, I mean it, because we are making the entertainment we enjoy. When you support the YouTubers that you love, you are making sure that you keep receiving this content, because let's face it, I don't know about you, but I don't think there's anything at the cinemas. I don't think there's anything on network television. I don't think there's anything on streaming right now that's as good as what the fans are doing on the streaming services themselves.
Cool.
Just my opinion. So,
all right.
Anyway, guys, I thank you so much. Please hit the subscribe button so you can come back next week for the next part of this if you enjoyed it. If you didn't, leave a comment and let me know why you didn't like it and what you would like to see on this channel. Super appreciate every single one of you. You guys are wonderful. I say this because I truly mean it, not because I've been drinking a lot of adult beverage tonight. However you want to look at it. Thank you guys so much. Take care, and we'll see you on the next one.
Good night, ladies.
Good night, sir.
Hit it, sweetheart.
The neon lights are fading, closing time is near. Whispers in the corners, secrets shared sincere. The bartender's polishing the final glass. Time slips away like moving through the grass. Last call for alcohol, make your dreams come true. One more round, friends, from me and you. Let's toast to the night, to the stories we've spun. Here's to the laughter and to what's begun. The shadows are dancing as we linger still. Every clink of a glass, a memory to distill. Beneath this smoky haze, our feelings they unfurl. A tapestry of whispers in this corner of the world. The jukebox serenades us with a final tune, crooning to the lonely and the lovers under the moon. With every soft note, the end draws ever near. But in this fleeting moment, there's nothing to fear. Last call for alcohol.